Hi, my name is Dom and welcome to a brand new video on DomTalksTech. Over the past year, I've kept it as no great secret that I'm really excited to see where the Google Stadia cloud-based gaming service actually goes and where it develops. I bought into the Founders Edition actually last June, so nearly a year ago now, and I started playing at launch in November 2019. The Stadia had a really shaky launch with a lot of features that Google initially promised missing from the launch date. But has it really changed in 6 months' time? Let's find out. Without further ado, let's get started. Before we begin, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below to stay up to date with all the latest tech reviews, hands-on and first impression videos. If you're a returning subscriber, make sure you turn on the bell notification next to it so that you get a notification as soon as I release a brand new video. Thank you all for watching and I hope you enjoy the video. If you're unfamiliar with what the Google Stadia is, in a brief, it's Google's next generation cloud-based gaming service, and I've done 2 videos on it already, and I'll leave a link for both of them below the like button down below in the description. At launch, you could only access the service if you bought into the Founders Edition, which was just launched in June last year, or whether you bought the Premier Edition, and that would cost you £119 in the UK to actually get access to the Google Stadia, which is very expensive for people sort of starting to try it, especially with the negative reviews coming out from the Google Stadia. It put a lot of people off at launch. But now, 6 months on, and with over 1 million people actually using the Google Stadia, anyone with a Google account can jump straight onto the platform and start playing with a collection of 12 free Stadia Pro games. So currently Google is offering 2 months free Stadia Pro subscription, which gets you those 12 games, and then you can buy any additional games that you want to use with Stadia as well. The platform has expanded considerably from its launch, with games dropping at a really quite rapid pace from the original 22 games at launch to a now collection of over 50. We've got some of the biggest games available on the Google Stadia, such as Doom Eternal, Watch Dogs Legions when that gets released, and amazingly the brand new game Cyberpunk 2077 in September this year. We've also got a range of exclusive games which you can only play on Stadia. So the first game was Guilt, which is a very fun game, sort of quite scary kind of game. It was brilliant at launch and it played really well, and it's available on the Stadia Pro subscription. And we've also got Ember, which has just been released as an early first edition, which is only available on the Stadia, and it's not actually going to be released on other platforms until next year. All these collections of really premium games do show exactly what Stadia is capable of doing, pumping out these 4K games at 60 frames per second, being rendered in Google servers and then streamed directly to any device that you're using. And just building upon that, any games that you do own, you will never need to update them or download them to any device, because this is all done in Google servers. So the minute you start playing it, you're playing the latest up-to-date game with all the latest patches on that game as well, which is a fantastic selling point for the Google Stadia. Now, there's a very strict rule in the tech space which says you shouldn't invest in tech with the promise of software updates in the future. And I think Google Stadia is actually breaking this very long-standing rule, because in this case, you do need to invest in Stadia for all those updates to follow, because it's software reliant rather than hardware reliant. So just like Netflix, it's only going to get better in the future. There are a lot of things that Google initially promised at launch with the Stadia. The ability to play pretty much on any device, wireless controller support, Google Assistant support, so you can bring up a YouTube video of how to complete one of the levels, 4K at 60 frames per second, with some of these still not being fully available even now, 6 months down the line. Having said that, phone support has continued to roll out and develop. So originally at launch, you were only able to play on Pixels, so Pixel 3 and Pixel 4s. Now you can play on pretty much any Samsung phone from the S8 onwards. Also the Razer Phone 1 and 2 the Asus ROG phones, and also the OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro. And Google is working to expand the amount of devices that are capable of playing this Stadia. However, Google has said that they want to actually optimize every single device individually so that it works with the Stadia in its best possible way, which I think is not a bad thing, because it means that the Stadia will run in the best way in every single device that you use Stadia on. You do have to remember that the Google Stadia is reliant on a very solid internet connection. There are some things you can do to minimize the risk of lag, such as using an Ethernet cable or Ethernet connection when you're running Stadia. However, after a long period of gaming, such as playing things that are very intensive like Doom Eternal, there is the occasional lag and dropouts which can become extremely frustrating. Having said all that, as I previously mentioned at the start of this video, Google Stadia is currently free to everyone with a Google account for 2 months, so you can try it out, you can see how your internet connection works and see if Google Stadia is the streaming platform for you. Now, there's things like I mentioned with Cyberpunk 2077, which is said to be a really difficult game to play on PCs and other various consoles needing a very strong computing power. So the Google Stadia might be something to invest in for playing a game such as Cyberpunk 2077, to have it at 4K at 60 frames per second. So try Google Stadia, it's free for 2 months, you're not missing out on anything, you can play on your computer, you can play at 4K in 60 frames per second on your computer, and you won't need to spend a single penny. Now, if you do want the Stadia controller, and this one is the Midnight Blue limited edition version, this is a really nice controller. It feels really nice. The spacing on all the controls is really good, with thumbsticks and D-pad and buttons such as the Google Assistant button in the middle. Then you can do, and that is £59 on the Google Store right now. But you don't need a Stadia controller. You can use other types of controllers to work with Stadia, and as I said, you can use your computer controls as well if you prefer using that way. In my experiences, I've really enjoyed playing Stadia for 6 months. It's been a super experience in my opinion. I've been able to play all my favourite games, such as the new Doom Eternal, which is absolutely fantastic. And I'm just hoping that Google can make the service bigger and better in the future. I'm extremely curious to find out what you guys think of the Google Stadia. So let me know in the comments below how your gameplay's being, if you've tried Google Stadia. Is it reliant for you? Does it work for you? Anything, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible with a response. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button down below, as it really does help to push out my videos for more people to see. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you're brand new to the channel to stay up to date with all the latest tech reviews, hands-on and first impression videos. Thank you guys for watching. I've been Dom, you're amazing. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay inside, and I'll see you in the next video.